For YouTube, if anyone is joining up there, sorry about the video. You'll lay down flat on your back with your knees bent, feet on the floor, and the knees knocking together. And cross the arms over the chest and tune into your breath. And so this position that we're in helps our psoas muscle, or the muscle that connects the spine to the thighs and crosses from the upper body to the lower body. It helps that psoas muscle to relax. And so while you stay here and breathe, I will guide you through some visual breathing exercises or relaxation exercises to help you get into that area of the body and to soften that area of the body right at your hip creases. So first I want you to imagine that there is a hanger, like a hanger in your closet, and it's suspended right above your knees. And your legs are folded over the hanger, like a pair of trousers would be folded over a hanger. And so that hanger is supporting the legs, and the legs can just rest down like inanimate objects. You feel softening in the hip creases. And now imagine that there is a waterfall starting from your knees and streaming down the thighs, pooling in the creases of the hips. And as that water streams down the muscles of the thighs, it softens and relaxes these muscles. Water streaming from knees to hips. And then we'll imagine a second waterfall starting from your knees and streaming down the shins. And the water pools at the feet. So now your feet are resting in pools of water, just the perfect temperature. Let your legs be heavy. And you might notice that deep in your hip creases, you feel a letting go. Maybe on one side more than the other. Or maybe it's not something you feel connected to yet, and that's okay. Now, if you're uncomfortable in any way, adjust your position so that you feel more comfortable. So we'll be here for a few more moments for a breathing exercise. So without changing your breath, just start counting the length of the inhale breath and then the length of the exhale breath. I know it's hard to pay attention to the breath without changing it. That's okay too. You might have noticed that either your inhale or your exhale breath was a bit longer. So we're going to practice some vritti, or even breathing. And you'll find a count that works for your body, for your breath. And when you're practicing any breath work with me, any pranayama, I don't want you to feel anxious or out of breath, or that you have to gasp for your next inhale. Take it easy. So if that starts to happen, back off. But now I want you to select the longest count that you made, either inhale or exhale breath, and then begin to even out the breath. So inhale for that count, counting up, and then exhale from that count. And you can stick with your own count. I'll guide you through a few just in case this is confusing or in case you're new to breath work. So either ignore me and continue with your count, or together we will inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do 5 more breaths. Even breathing. Some vritti. you finish with your 5 breaths, return to a normal breath count or just a normal breathing. Take your time. And just when you're done, bring your hands to the sides of the body, out to a T, or if you don't have much room, bend at your elbows. If you're out to a T, go palms face down. And then walk your feet so that they touch. And the knees and thighs will touch as well. You keep the feet on the floor. And keep that even breathing, your own count. Inhale now. And as you exhale, drop your knees to the right. Keep them together and keep the feet on the floor. The left foot will lift off the earth. When you inhale, use the length of your even count to lift the knees back up through center. This might be quite slow, and that might be a challenge. As you exhale, knees drop over to the left. As you inhale, the knees come back to center. As you exhale, they drop over to the right. You can change the speed of your breath. Just keep it even. Inhales and exhales. Come back through center. We'll finish on the left side. And then back through center. So just change the position of the legs. So we change where we're revolving in the spine. So bring the knees right over the hips. Heels can fall in towards the buttocks. Again, inhale. And exhale, twist over to the right. Try to keep your knees in line with the hips. They might not land on the floor. Inhale, lift back up to center, knees over hips. And exhale, over to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. You might already feel your abdominals working. Inhale, center. And exhale, left. Inhale, center. Stay. Now pull your knees all the way into the chest. Leave your arms where they are. Inhale to prepare. We keep the knees in tight towards the torso. Exhale, bring them over to the right. They're tucking up towards the right armpit, right elbow. Inhale, center. You know the drill. We do 2 full rounds. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Maybe your breath is faster. Maybe you do 3 rounds. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. And exhale, left. Come back to center. Hug your knees in. And then roll to one side and come onto hands and knees. Place your blanket or towel under your knees if you need the extra padding. Spread your hands wide underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. As you inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart, and lift the hips into cow pose. Same even breath. Exhale into cat, rounding your spine to the sky. Continue your count. Inhaling, maybe 3, 4, and exhaling 2, 3, 4. Inhaling into the cow pose and exhaling into the cat pose. Last one. And back up to the sky. Use your inhale breath to return to a neutral spine. So not in cow, not in cat. From here, leave the hips over the knees, but crawl the hands far forward to bring the forehead down to the ground. If your arms or shoulders are quite tight, you might spread the hands a little bit wider than the shoulders. But let the heart melt down towards the ground and back towards your thighs. Again, inhaling and exhaling, making your breath even and smooth. Noticing the effect your breath has on the feelings in your body. And a couple more here. Then curl the hands so that they're underneath the elbows and lift your way back up to tabletop. We'll find a plank pose. Curl your toes under and then spread your hands and feet wide so that the hands are still under shoulders and toes underneath your heels. Inhale here. Exhale, downward dog. Stay with your count. Inhale forward. Exhale, hips up high. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And stay. Walk your feet apart as wide as your mat. Bend your knees and come up high onto your toes. Lift and spread the sitting bones. Press down into your hands to lengthen through the arm bones and the armpits. And like that heart melting pose that we did on our knees, let your heart melt back towards the thighs. Bend the knees deeper. Inhale. And use your exhale breath to walk your feet forward to the hands. Feet spread wider than the hips. Now, if you have trouble reaching the floor here, this is when you grab two of your books. Use them to lift the floor up to you. Feet are wider than the hips. Bend your knees generously. And then let the body hang down over the legs. Grab opposite elbows with your hands. Let the back of the neck hang long. Ragdoll pose. Return to your even breathing. And disclaimer, no one has ever called me the human metronome. So stick with your breath count. My apologies if I throw you off. Change which forearm is on the bottom. Change the crossing of your arms. Find 2 or 3 more even breath cycles. A breath cycle is an inhale and an exhale together. Now, if you use those books to come down forward, make sure that you have them. And I want you to experience something. So now we've got the knees bent. It's really a release for the back more than a stretch for the hamstrings. You might feel your quads working too. If you start to straighten your legs, you might notice all sorts of stuff starts to happen in your body. And you might also notice that there's some not so great feelings in the back, even as you stretch more through the backs of the legs. So that deep bend in the knees helps the spine to release over the legs, and it's a great stretch for if you're having low back pain. So now let's toe heel the feet so that they're hips width distance apart. And the outer edges of your feet are in line with the outer edges of your mat, so they're parallel. And then bring your blocks or your hands directly underneath your shoulders and inhale to come up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Now here we do straighten the legs as best you can. Now if the books aren't high enough and you've got a chair or a piece of furniture nearby, use your chair, use something higher. But try and get those legs straight and then notice the hips come forward over my heels. Bend the elbows slightly. Wrap the outer upper arms back towards the torso and then reach the top of your sternum forward. So we're really starting to lengthen through that upper back and we're reaching the heart through the window of the arms. One more breath in. And exhale, fold back forward. Option to bend the knees if you liked that, or if you're exploring with that today. So many different ways to practice. I'm just here to kind of show you some interesting things. So one more time, with your books or not, inhale, come up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. And here, let the books go. Bring your hands to your hips, everybody. Pull your elbows together behind your back, and inhale, come all the way up to standing. Now stand with your feet, either hips width distance or together. Reach your hands down by the sides of the body and roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Spread the soles of your feet wide on the earth. Feel the inner arches of your feet lifting up and press the tops of your thigh bones back. Reach your tailbone down. Now we're active through the front of the body. Interlace your fingers in front of you and then press them forward, stretching the palms of your hands and reaching your thumbs straight down. You stay standing. I'm going to kneel so the YouTube video can see my whole body. Now here, soften your shoulders away from your ears. Knit your front low ribs down to your hip points. Keep your torso still, but inhale, lift those arms overhead. They might not go very far back. You might be like this, because if you go any further back, it's going to happen from your spine. And we really want to get a stretch to the arms. So again, no hiking through the shoulders. Let them soften down. Look up at your hands. Spread the palms of the hands and reach your thumbs straight forward. Another breath in. And exhale, release your hands down by the sides of the body. We'll do the second side. So interlace the hands with the other index finger on top. Use your even breathing to inhale and press the palms away from you. Exhale, soften the shoulders down away from the ears. Knit the ribs. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, soften shoulders, but straighten arms. Inhale, stretch the palms, look up. Exhale, stay. Another breath in. And exhale, release the hands down by the sides of the body. Inhale, sweep the arms back overhead. Grab your right forearm with your left hand. Next breath in, reach that right arm up higher, higher, and exhale, bend over to the left. Scoot the right shoulder blade away from the neck. Continue to breathe deep and even now into the right lung. Inhale, come back up to center. Both arms reach overhead. Now left arm, grab it. Use an inhale breath to reach up higher. And exhale, tip over to your right. Left shoulder blade away from the neck. Deep breaths into the left side lungs. Even breathing. And use an inhale breath to come back to center. Both arms overhead. Exhale, arms down by the sides of the body. Now we'll move into Surya Namaskar C. So you're in Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Look up. Exhale, fold forward at your hips. Grab your books if you use them. Uttanasana. Inhale, half up. We've been here before. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plank pose. We've done this before. Step it back. Knees up or knees down. Inhale into your plank pose. And exhale, stay. Find that smooth, even breathing. Point your tailbone between your heels and hollow your low belly up towards your spine. Bend the elbows slightly, just very slightly. Wrap the outer upper arm bones back towards the chest, and then reach your top sternum forward between the window of the arms. Another breath in. And now exhale, bend your elbows straight back, lower all the way down to the earth. Point back through the tops of your feet and slide your fingertips back. Inhale, cobra pose. Lift your heart. Keep your feet down on the ground. Now exhale, press down into the knees, straighten your arms. Come back into a plank pose, knees off the ground. Use an exhale breath to lower, downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale here. Now as you inhale, bring your right foot forward between your hands. And you might have to help it along the way. Left knee comes down to the ground. You can leave the left toes curled under or point back through that left foot. And crawl your hands up onto the right thigh. Lift your shoulders over the hips. And now inhale, reach the arms overhead. Hug your outer hips in towards the middle. So we're activating the muscles in the outer hips. Inhale to lift your heart, lift your top sternum up. Exhale, revolve to the right. So towards your front knee, towards your front leg. Inhale, spine grows long. Exhale, soften the shoulders. Keep hugging your outer hips in. And now think about the skin of your belly. Think about your navel and the skin around the navel. Move the skin from left to right. Ooh, deepens the twist. Also works into those obliques. Stretch the arms far away from one another. Stretch the shoulder blades away from the spine. One more breath in. Even breathing. One more breath out. Stay with that even breathing. Inhale, come back to center, arms overhead. Exhale, plant your hands. Curl your back toes under and lift your back knee off the ground. Step back, downward facing dog. Hips high to the sky. Even breathing in. Even breathing out. Next, inhale, initiate the move of your left foot forward between the hands. Right knee down to the ground. Crawl the hands up onto the left thigh. Shoulders over the hips. Inhale, lift the arms overhead. Hug the outer hips into the midline. Next, inhale, breath, lift the spine tall. Exhale, twist to your left. Revolve the skin of the navel from right to left. Keep hugging outer hips in. Reach the arms away from one another to spread the shoulder blades away from the spine. Even breathing in. Even breathing out. Last one, in and out. Inhale, come back to center, arms overhead. Exhale, plant your hands and step back, downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale here. Inhale, walk your feet forward to the hands, hang down. Next breath in, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up to standing, arms overhead, look up. Exhale, release your hands down by the sides of the body. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward, even breathing. Inhale, come up halfway. We're changing it up. Exhale, step your left foot back long. Lower your left knee down to the ground. And inhale, bring your arms overhead. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, lift your top sternum up towards the ceiling. Exhale, hug your outer hips in. Another breath in lengthens the spine. Exhale, revolve to the right, skin of the navel from left to right. Inhale here. Exhale here. Now either stay here or hinge at your hips and bring your left elbow to the outer right knee. Notice if your hands have moved from your sternum, press your right hand into the left to bring them centered over your breastbone. Now either stay here, continue to revolve the navel from left to right, or maybe you start to bring the outer left upper arm down further to hook the knee. Balance here, I'm rocking side to side, you might be too. And then again, recenter your palms at your heart. All right, we come out of this. Inhale, balance, grace, arms overhead. Exhale, plant the hands, curl your back toes under and lift the knee. Inhale here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forward between the hands, right knee down to the ground. Next breath in, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, lift the heart high. Exhale, twist to your left. Revolving navel from right to left. And obviously you continue to breathe even when I'm not saying inhale and exhale. Either stay here or use an exhale breath to hinge at your hips and hook right elbow on outer left knee. And then press your hands so that they're centered right on top of your breastbone. Continue to revolve navel from right to left, working on your balance. Stay here or hinge even lower to hook the outer upper right arm on the outside of the left knee. Take one more even breath. And the following inhale, with grace, come back to center, arms overhead. Exhale, release the hands, lift your back toes off the ground, lift your back knee off the ground, and step back, downward facing dog. Rest in a child's pose. Bring the knees down to the ground, big toes come to touch, and then hips land on your heels, forehead to the earth. Not everybody's hips wind up on their heels, so you might look more like this with your butt in the air. That's fine as long as you're comfortable. Even breath. Find that sama vritti. Remember your count from the beginning and notice if it's changed. Feel your breath move your body. Feel the heat that you've generated. And we'll return to a bit more practice. As if we've left child's pose as part of the practice, an important part. Inhale up to hands and knees. Curl your toes under and exhale, down dog. One more round of these low lunges. Use an inhale breath to bring the right foot forward. Lower your left knee down to the ground. And now bring your right hand on the inside of the right foot. Toe heel that right foot open to the right corner of your mat. Keep hugging the knee in towards your upper right arm. Press down into the palms, or if the floor is kind of far away, grab your books and press down into them. We're going to start by activating through the head and shoulders, or the neck and shoulders rather. So you bend the elbows slightly, wrap the outer upper arms back towards the torso, and reach your top sternum forward. This is familiar by now. Shake the head no. Neck is long. Now you can either stay here, or I'll give you a number of options. One option, you might lower down to your left elbow. So I'll show you this facing the camera. You might lower down to your left elbow, or take your stack of books and lower down onto them. Maybe you stay up on your hands, or even up on the books. And you can stay right as you are. You might come onto the outer right foot, opening the knee to the right. You can play around with this, just breathe. I got a request for hips. This is great for the hips. If you're having any knee pain, adjust your position. Notice if you're holding any tension in the head and in the neck, maybe you can let it just hang out for a second. If your knee is open to the side, flatten your foot back on the earth and pull the knee back in towards your right outer arm. If you're down on your elbows, lift back up so that you're on your palms. And then from here, you'll curl your left toes under and lift the left knee off the earth. Step back plank pose. Exhale to downward dog. Inhale, left foot, forward between the hands, right knee down to the ground. Now move that left hand on the inner left foot and toe heel your left foot open. First, we stay upright. Slight bend to the elbows, wrap your outer upper arms towards your armpits and reach your top sternum forward. Feel that length in your spine. Even breathing. Soften your jaw. Let go in the hips. And either stay here or find your second variation. Maybe it's the elbows. Maybe you open the left knee to the left. And you can let the head hang, or if you like, you can continue working on that shoulder strength and spine lengthening by reaching your top sternum forward. Even breathing. There's so much value in practicing this even breathing while you move and while you put yourself into positions that may be more or less familiar or comfortable, but always with the mind on the breath, or training yourself to have the mind on the breath. Flatten your left foot back to the floor, pull your knee back in towards center. Straighten the arms, palms on the ground. Lift the right knee off the ground. Step back plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now walk the feet forward to the hands. Use your books if you need them. Fold down. Inhale, come up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold back down. Press down into your feet. Inhale, come all the way up to standing, arms overhead. Exhale, release your hands to your heart. Now we'll take triangle pose. So stand in the center of your mat, or make sure you've got space to step your legs wide. I'm going to take off my socks because I don't want to slip. And you might need your yoga block or one of your books. So if you're using your book, hold it in your right hand. Step your feet apart wide. Inhale, bring your arms out to a T. Oh, that book is heavy. You can leave the hands down if you like. Now from that right hip, turn the right leg out so the toes point towards the short side of your mat, and then angle your left toes in. If you've been resting the arms, inhale, bring them out to the side. Now reach the right fingertips forward as you bump your hips back to the left. Notice even length through the right and left sides of my torso. Inhale even, and exhale, lower the right hand or book to the floor, left hand straight up to the sky. Notice where in your body you feel the opening. If you've been joining me the past few weeks, think about what we've learned. I talk a lot about keeping your right knee in line with the center of the right foot. Are you doing that here? Now, if that book's too heavy, you can leave it on the floor as you come back up, or you can grab the book, press down into your feet, hug your low belly in towards the spine, and inhale, come back up to standing. Hands to the hips, second side. So now from that left hip, we turn the left leg out and angle the right toes in. Inhale, arms out to a T. Another breath in, we reach left fingertips forward and bump the hips back. And book in the left hand, exhale, bring the book or your fingertips down towards the leg, right arm up into the sky. Find your even breathing. Return to your count. Now hug the navel in towards the spine. Inhale, come up to standing. Release the hands and turn all 10 toes forward. You can get rid of the book. Because we're going to take the chair now. So you might have a chair, you might not. If you don't have a chair, you'll do down dog. You might also use a wall to press into. I'm using a dining room chair just for the sake of showing you. You could use an armchair too. You could use the side of your couch or a coffee table. Okay. So whatever you're using, you'll lean forward, find a sturdy place to put your hands. You want to make sure it doesn't go sliding if you put your weight on it, right? And then step your feet back and drop your chest down. So we started out practice similar to this. We've done it in down dog, and now we're just lifting the floor up underneath our hands in a down dog. So as long as that chair isn't pushing in front of you, you can really press your hands down into it. Bend your elbows slightly, roll your outer upper arms down towards the ground. Spread across the collarbones and the upper back. And now keep the strength in the shoulders, but release your heart down and back towards your thighs. So what I mean by keep the strength in your shoulders is that it's not just a dropping and a falling. There's still the sense that the shoulder blades are moving away from the spine and the upper arms are moving away from one another. But we're getting a bit of an opening through the upper back and through the muscles of the arms. This is a great one to do anytime during your day on any piece of furniture. Seriously, use it. I do it all the time. All right, bend your knees, walk your feet in towards your furniture. And then be careful, we're upside down, hands to the hips, come up to standing. So next we're taking ardha chandrasana. It's a balance pose, and you're using your furniture here too. You might have to get creative, but I bet you can find a way. If you don't have a piece of furniture, you'll put a book in your left hand, put it down on the floor, do the same thing. Okay, so we'll start on the left side. If you're using a chair, face in the same direction, the back of the chair. So the chair is actually facing the other direction as you. And now slide that left foot underneath your chair if you can, and make sure that the left knee is lined up over the center of the left foot. You can bend the knee and just keep it there. Now bring your left arm down on your prop, right arm on the back of the chair, holds on wherever. Keep the left knee bent and lift the right leg up into the sky. So I'm just moving so that the Instagram video can see me. So here, that left knee is still bent, so you're not letting the knee fall in towards center. You're keeping the knee over the center of the left foot. You got your upper body supported on your prop, so now we can really pay attention to this back leg. A lot of weird things happen in this back leg. Sometimes the toes turn down, sometimes it bends, sometimes the toes turn up. See if you can turn all 5 toes directly forward. If you need to take a break, join us back. So here I want you to imagine that the muscles of your inner right thigh are what are engaging to keep your leg lifted. So it's as if someone came by and held up your leg from underneath. And then reach out through the heel. So make this upper leg the strong leg. Does this look kind of like triangle to you? Remember, you stay there. This is triangle pose. This is ardha chandrasana. You might feel that outer hip burning. It's okay. And we release this side, and we change sides. I don't know what your living room looks like. You might just turn around. I'm going to move my chair to the other side of the mat so that you can see me. So first, snuggle that right foot up to the chair and find that external rotation, just like we did in the triangle pose. Bend slightly into the right knee. That helps ensure that we keep the right knee over the center of the foot. And then coming out onto your props with your arms, lift the left leg up into the sky. So notice my left leg is like super aware. It's strong up there. Just because it seems like we're doing the work with our standing leg doesn't mean it's true. This left leg is really helping to keep us in space. And if we were to be balancing, then it would be essential in keeping us in the pose. So again, the toes turn straight forward, not down, not up, but straight forward. Reach out through the heel and imagine that there's a table or something underneath that left inner thigh that's supporting the leg in space. Breathe. If your right knee is still bent, maybe you straighten the leg, but don't compromise that alignment of the knee, because really what that is the alignment of the right hip. Remember when we're working at the hip creases in the beginning? And release. Very nice. Let's do that one more time, because it might have been new. So turn around. We're standing on the left leg, slight bend to the knees, center the knee, and lift the right leg up to the sky. All the same things apply. But now move your tailbone in towards your body, so in towards the pubic bone, and press your head back. You might imagine there's a wall behind you, and that your buttocks and the back of your head were pressing into the wall. And now if you want to challenge your balance, maybe you lift your right arm up into the sky. Even breathing in, even breathing out. And release. Second side. Standing on the right leg, line up the right knee, lift the left leg up into the sky. Also, notice that my left leg is hip height. It's not lifting up really high. It's not some sort of a ballet move. Keeping an L shape here. All the same things apply. Feel this inner thigh engaging to hold you. Maybe challenge your balance by lifting the left arm up into the sky. Even breath in. Even breath out. And bend into your right knee to release. Very good. Hopefully that was fun. You can set your prop, your chair, furniture out of the way, and then find your blankets or towels. So again, if you're tight, you'll need more than one. You'll be sitting up on it. If you're in quite a flexible body, you might not need this at all. So first we'll take Dandasana or staff pose. You'll sit up onto your prop, whatever it is, and bring the legs straight out in front of you. And the way you know you need a prop is that if you sit on the floor and your legs and knees are off the ground and you're rocking back, your tail is tucking underneath you and even lifting up towards the sky, it means you need some support underneath the spine. Notice that lifting is happening here. So you'll bring as much height as you need until you can feel that lift. And for you, you might sit in your chair and then just straighten your legs out in front of you. And everybody, bring your hands to the sides of the body so that the heels of the hands are in line with the very back of the hips. Roll your shoulders back and down. Depending on the length of your arms, you might be on your fingertips. And then pull your toes back towards your face. Keep your heels on the ground, but reach them further away from you. This is Dandasana. Shoulders are stacked over the hips. Heels stay on the ground. If you can lift your heels off the ground, it might mean you hyperextend through your knees. You don't want that. Even breath in. Even breath out. So we'll move from here into Baddha Konasana. And this is where I said in the caption, what you need for class today, if you wanted to make it a more relaxing class, then grab a pillow. Like this is the back of my couch. You might also have a body pillow. And I'll show you options. You really don't have to have that pillow. But Baddha Konasana, show you facing the camera. You bring the soles of your feet together and open the knees wide. Now, if this hurts your knees, maybe you do a straddle pose instead. You stay on the same props, the same height that you figured out for yourself in Dandasana, okay? And then again, bring the hands behind you. Press down into the hands to roll the shoulders back and lift the heart. Remember, we're lifting that top sternum, working through the chest, which helps to release the muscles of the neck and shoulders. And now here, either stay and you'll work, if you want to be active, with releasing the inner groin to the inner knee and reaching the knees down closer towards the ground. If you want to be a bit more passive, you might find that pillow that you've got and fold forward slightly onto it. Everybody's got a different flexibility, so maybe you're coming down quite far. But notice it's a hinging at the hips, not so much a rounding at the spine. Even breathing. Take 3 to 5 more breaths. When you're finished with your breaths, use an inhale to lift yourself back up. You're using a big prop, set it off to the side. Bring your hands underneath your knees and bring the knees together. So next we'll take chandrasana with an open leg variation. These words might not mean anything to you. That's okay. They're Sanskrit, ancient Indian language. Yoga is from India, if you weren't aware. So we'll start with the legs wide and straddle. And now we'll bring the right foot in towards the groin, kind of like the butterfly pose we were just in. Left leg's open to the side. I should have told you before. Find where you're using as a strap. And then loop it around that left foot. Okay? So if your strap is shorter, it'll be harder to use, especially if you got short arms or a tight body. So now we're revolving, like we did in the beginning of class. So revolve the navel from right to left as you turn the torso over your left leg. You're holding onto the strap. Begin to walk your hands as far down the strap as you can, hinging forward at the hips to stretch over your left leg. So this might look different for everybody's body. And if you wanted it to be more relaxing and passive, grab your pillow, shove it underneath you, and just lay down over this leg. If you're wanting a bit more active of a practice, you know, either holding your strap or your foot, find your even breathing, everybody. And then try to reach further with the right side torso. So it's as if you're reaching the right side ribs towards the foot. And try to line up your sternum with the inner left leg. Line up your breastbone with the inner left leg. You're still revolving the navel from right to left. Soften through the left side of the navel. Reach the right side sternum towards the inner right foot. And bring the hands down to the floor. Inhale to come up halfway and then crawl your body back center. Bend that left knee and then change sides. Straighten the right leg out and bring the left heel in towards the groin. Take the strap, loop it around the right foot, or if you'd like, you're just using the relaxing pillow, go ahead and just fold over the right leg. You don't have to worry too much as long as it feels okay in your body. So if you're folding, just find even breathing and hang out there. And I'll teach the active version of this shape. So we revolve the torso from left to right. We're revolving over that right leg. And then hinge at the hips to reach the heart towards the shin. Crawl the hands down the strap as far as they go, arms straight. Reach the left ribs further forward. Soften the right side belly. And breathe. Try to line up the sternum with the inner right leg. Even breathing. You're asking your body to do new things, and you tune into the breath instead of trying to boss the body around. You might notice how it's doing this, how it's trying to work for you, how it's trying to soften or to contract and muscularly draw itself into this shape. The body has an intelligence. And sometimes the body teaches the mind. Even breathing, one more. And then on a following inhale, come up halfway. Sit the shoulders over the hips. And then we'll bring both of the legs back to the center as we started in Dandasana. But this time we'll fold forward, so the pose is called Paschimottanasana. Again, you have the option to use your big pillow. You're still sitting up on the same thing. If you want to be active in this, then loop the strap around the feet, straighten the legs out as best you can. So they might be bent. You might really just be reaching out through the heels and you're feeling so much of a stretch on the back of the left hamstring. That's fine. Pull onto the strap, lift your shoulders over there, roll the shoulders back rather, soften them away from the ears and lift the heart. Inhale here. Exhale, reach your chest towards your legs. Okay, so we're keeping the spine long to begin. Crawl the hands down the strap. Maybe you hold onto your feet. If you're taking the chill version, we just support our torso and hang out here. It's okay for the spine to round, as long as you don't have a herniated disc. Sometimes osteoporosis, you want to stay seated upright as well. Now, if you're active and you're pulling and you're working, I want you to spread the shoulder blades away from the spine and reach your elbows out to the side. And soften the belly and fold deeper. Let the head hang. Even breathing. These seated poses that we're doing here at the end of practice are calming to the body. They're good to do before bedtime. And you don't have to, remember all of the cues that I've given you. I teach that way because it's interesting to me to work with my body piece by piece and part by part. But it's really not that it's the right way to practice. Just a way to kind of get into the body and find an interest and an engagement so that we aren't lost in the mind. So the mind is tethered and tied to the body and to the breath. And you really can't do this wrong. You can do it without me or without guidance. And if anything hurts, just let me know. So now let's bring the hands either to the strap or to the floor. We come up halfway first. So as you inhale, reach the heart towards the feet and grow the spine long. And then sit the shoulders back up over the hips. Bend your knees. And make sure you got your stack of books or your blocks. Or if you're using a bunch of towels, that'll work too. And this is when we use that stack of books that we prepared in the beginning. So come to lay down on your back with the books in reaching distance. Your knees are bent, feet on the floor. We're going to take a supported bridge pose here. We'll hold it for a little bit of time. It shouldn't be too active. It's a really great opener on the shoulders and especially the back of the neck. So here, feet are hips width distance apart, knees in line with the feet. You'll take the books, lift your hips, and then slide the books underneath you. When I first experimented this with books, the book covers got in my way. So do take the time, if you've never done this before, to figure out how it works. And if it doesn't feel high enough, grab another book. We've got a little under 10 minutes left of class, so you've got time to do this with us. So I think you're going to like it. So if you're using a mat, hold on to the outer edges of your mat and pull it apart to roll your shoulder blades underneath you. If you're not using a mat, you can still rock to one side and tuck the opposite shoulder blade underneath you. And now lift your head slightly off the ground and then reach the base of the skull away from the neck. So you're stretching the back of the neck, chin is tucking slightly, and bring the head back down. So now we've lengthened the back of the neck. Toe wheel your feet a little bit wider than the hips. Press down into the feet and press forward to feel your shoulder blades rolling further underneath you. The skin of their neck moves down towards the shoulder blades. So the skin of the backside body moves from neck to hips. Now don't turn your head right to left here. Just listen to the words. So take the upper sides of your chest. So that's like where your armpits are, but then moving down the sides of the torso, upper sides of the chest. Lift the upper sides of your chest towards the sky. At the same time, lift your shoulder blades up towards the sky. And now relax your head heavy. Notice if you started to use your neck. As you're lifting the upper side chest and lifting the shoulder blades, relax your neck. Take a deep breath in, stretch the collarbones apart. Keep the chest lifted as you exhale. Keep pressing down and forward with your feet to get more of that nice opening through the upper back, a stretch and even a massage on the upper trapezius muscle. And here with the head on the ground and the stretch in the back of the neck, you're also stretching the inner ears. So this would be a good pose to drain sinuses if you're having any allergies. On your next inhale breath, lift that side chest, lift the shoulder blades, keep them there as you exhale. Soften the hips heavy into the books. And you might stay here, or maybe you want to experiment with straightening one leg at a time, which will give you more of an opening over the top of the hips. This can also hurt low backs. My low back is kind of precarious. So I have to go really slow on things like this because if it's a day where it's just not feeling good, I don't want to do it. If you're feeling all right with one leg straight and you've done both sides, then maybe you experiment with straightening both legs. But you'll probably notice that as you straighten your legs, you get less of an opening through the shoulders. Your skin isn't really moving from the neck down towards the hips because the feet aren't pressing you back onto the shoulders. So now you get to choose what type of pose you want to do, what you think is right for you in this moment. And then find your even breathing. And I want you to focus on your even breathing for 10 full breath cycles. And you're doing that now. You're counting. An inhale is 1, and exhale is 1. Inhale 2, exhale 2. If your mind wanders, that's okay. Pull it back and start over from the top. Let go of all effort except for the focus and concentration on counting your breath. If you breathe quickly and you've reached 10 breaths, just continue. So as you count your breath, perhaps you imagine it's like an anchor thrown from a ship, and it's dropping with every breath to the bottom of the sea. And you can either stay here, if you want to take a more traditional Shavasana, flat on your back, knees bent, feet on the floor. Lift your hips up just enough to bring the books out from underneath you, and then lower your hips back down. You can leave the knees bent and let them knock in towards one another for your final rest, or straighten the legs out to the end of the mat. Let your palms roll face up, and go back to your breath. Even breathing. Anchor dropping. And in your next few breaths, let that anchor lodge down into the mud. Let your breath anchor you and your body to the earth. As although feelings and emotions can rise, make us feel out, the truth is we're always breathing in our body and we're stuck to the earth. And it takes practice. And with practice, we can return that grounded and rooted reality. When our mind and our worries threaten to take us away, count your breath, even breathing. I'll leave you here. I challenge you to do 10 more breaths. Even if you're feeling restlessness. Okay, so what? You can do it. 10 more breaths. Thank you so much for practicing. If you want more, join me on Zoom. The details are in all of my profiles, or send me a message. If you have any questions, I'm happy to help. Are you still doing your 10 more